Hello and welcome everyone. I'm going to show you how to create a slicer inside of Excel from scratch. So we're going to have a look at this data. So we've got our city-based information down here. We've got the area of interest. So this is going to be our metric area. We've got the plan, the current year and the variance. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll create a simple pivot table. So click inside of the data set, Control-Shift-8. Selects the current region, selects everything, Control-Shift-8, and we go insert and we'll insert a pivot table. And then we might tell the pivot table that we want it to be an existing worksheet, and we'll just click in here, and then we'll go pivot table, can you push the data into cell A1? Alright, so we click OK, and everything should be all tickety-boo. Okay, so we choose our city, we'll choose the area of interest, the plan, the current year and the variance. Okay, so we've got like a neat summary, yeah? Now I don't love the way this is put together, so what we'll do is we'll go design, you click inside the pivot table to get the design menu, and then we'll go report layout, and I wanted these two items to be chosen. Doesn't matter which area you choose them in, so show in tabular form, and then report layout, repeat item labels. Now it's up to you whether you leave the total in. You can get rid of it if you wish, it doesn't really matter. For demonstration purposes I'll take it out, subtotal city. And now we're at the point where we can create our slicer, yeah? So we go to the Analyze menu. Now the Analyze menu is only available if you click inside the pivot table. Analyze, insert slicer right in the middle. And then we'll choose city, yeah? So it's a bit like creating a pivot table, but just less involved. So we click OK, Excel does its thing, creates a slicer. Now, a slicer is just a glorified filter for this table, yeah? So if I just want to see Los Angeles, I click Los Angeles. If I go, hang on, I want to see Miami as well. I hold the Control key, click Miami. Now I've got LA and Miami, yeah? So basically, that is our way of controlling what we see in the pivot table. I can hold the Control key, or you can hold the Shift key like on Boston, and then hold the Shift and choose Seattle, and it chooses everything, which makes that filter up in the corner redundant. So I tend to take them out. Oh, how do you do that? Well, I'm glad you asked. You just right click the slicer, slicer settings, and then untick this display header, and then it disappears. Yeah, so that's how you do it. You right click, slicer settings, untick. Yeah. All right. So that's a basic slicer that's now controlling our pivot table. We get a summary over there. All right. So that's effectively how to create one. If you wanted to change the way that it looks and feels, you've got a range of reasonably limited options here, and they range from the not so bad to pretty ordinary, sort of this one here. So you do have the option of changing the way the slicer looks and feels. I might actually show you how to do that. So let's say we want to choose our corporate colors. So we'll choose new slicer style, and then we go whole slicer, and then we'll format that. And what I tend to do is to go for a white fill. So that makes the background white. Yeah. And then I click OK. Yeah, so that's the whole slicer done. So go fill, white, cool. And then I'll go selected item with the data. So format, so it's now the point to choose our corporate colors. I might just choose some very light corporate colors. I might choose, I say that blue, because you can see the item through it. And then I'll click OK, and then I'll say the unselected item with data, I'll format that, and let's say our other color is orange. Yeah, it's a pretty ugly sort of color scheme, but it'll give you the idea. And then we'll click OK, and it gives you an idea of what it might look like there, and then we'll click OK. Now you would have thought that that would push it straight into the slicer, but it doesn't. You've got to come up here and then choose it. Yeah, and then that is terrible, but you get the idea, yeah? So the item that's chosen, it does stand out a bit more than the grey, is the blue, yeah? And you'll see that over to the side. Okay, so that's basically some basics of creating a slicer, yeah? Now I'll show you how to do the same thing with this data table here, yeah? Now, in later versions of Excel, Microsoft introduced the option of creating a slicer with a table. So you have to create a table. So you click inside of this data set, and this time it's Control-T. Yeah? Now we click OK. I usually change the table because Excel gives it a name up here. So I choose the design, and I'll say this is going to be my area table because I'll create a slicer based on area. So we'll click Enter. Nice. Now that's the name of my table. And same deal. I have to click inside here to get access to the design menu, and then I get access to insert a slicer. Now I get access to area. Now I click OK, and now I can filter by my risk, or my risk and my project, or everything. So that's the other way to create a slicer. You can get rid of the heading, you can change the way that it looks and feels. You can say, oh, okay, I want it 3 columns, so you can make it from a vertical slicer to a horizontal slicer. So just up here with this sort of columns option, look, you can do a whole range of things. You'll see heaps of examples on my website under dashboards, because they're a fantastic way to control data. Yeah, fantastic. All right, hope you've enjoyed my brief presentation in how to create slices with Excel. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day. Take care.